Alright, so in this video, I'm going to be talking about the 5 red flags in a woman that I would ultimately avoid. Now, look, man, what I'm going to be talking about in this video, I've got the notes for it right here. This is all from personal experience. So what you've encountered could be different than what I'm going to talk about, and whether you choose to listen to me on avoiding these kinds of women or not is, up to you, man. So some of these might seem like a big deal to you, some of these might not seem like a big deal to you, but I'm going to explain to you in this video why these red flags are literally red flags. And again, this is going to be from women that I've dated and I've been in relationships with. So this is just what I've noticed over my life that ultimately was either just not fun to be around or just wouldn't work or last in a long-term relationship. So let's dive right into that. Number 1, if she's angry all of the time. Dude, I'm telling you right now, man, being around a girl that is angry at the world all the fucking time, even if it's not at you. And there was this one girl that I was dating at the time, wasn't in a relationship with, but we were going out, hanging out, hooking up. And super cool girl to be around. I've known her for several years, but this girl was just fucking angry at life. Every single time I was around her, she was always complaining about something. And she never used to be like that, at least from my understanding. Maybe I just never hung out with her enough to realize that she was like that. But when we were hanging out at that time, hanging out and whatnot, it always just seemed like there was something wrong with this girl. But there was always something that she was just bitching about, and she had to complain about something. And what happens when you're with people like that, and why I'm saying that this is a fucking red flag, is because this, even if it's not pointed at you, this is going to drain you emotionally. You are going to get so sick and tired of being around a girl that is like this, especially if you're somebody like me, somebody that typically stays in a very good mood all the time. So when you're around somebody that's just bitching, that's just angry, that's just miserable, you're like, Jesus Christ, man, like I literally can't fucking do this anymore. And I just remember like being around this girl. Like I said, man, it doesn't matter what it was. The littlest things that you would think that you wouldn't be able to complain about or you shouldn't complain about, she would always find a way to fucking bitch about something. And you're the average of the 5 people you hang out with. So imagine if I already got into a serious relationship with this girl and she was angry at the world 24/7, that would have rubbed off on me. And then I likely would have become like a very negative person because I was choosing to surround myself and make this girl my significant other. That's gonna be first red flag. That one right there, man, I'm telling you right now, if you've never been around a girl like that, I'm telling you, my brothers, please do not get involved with a girl that is angry at life all the time. Number 2, now this is gonna be based on trust. This is gonna be if she places her phone face down while she's with you all the time, or I would say at any point in time. Now there is the occasional, if she accidentally places it face down, that's fine. But if you notice a pattern, this girl is constantly placing her phone down where you can't see what's on her phone screen. There's likely something that she's trying to hide. And I'm not the first guy that's ever gonna tell you this. There are plenty of different videos out there with plenty of other dudes talking about their experiences that will tell you that if a woman is placing her phone face down when she's near you, or if she's if it's not in sight, if her phone's not in sight, if it's face down, if she's got the ringer turned off. Now that one right there, I've had a girlfriend that had the ringer turned off all the time, but she would never, her phone would be up like this the whole time. She was hiding nothing. But that's just things. So the ringer could be off so you don't hear it go off. She could place it face down. She could hide the phone from you. She could be, I watched a video where this guy was on a date with the girl and she went to the bathroom several different times and brought her phone with her. Obviously, if a girl is doing that, there's something, more than likely, some other dude that she doesn't want you to know about. And if you're in a committed relationship with this girl and she's doing some suspicious fucking bullshit, like putting her phone face down every time she's with you, that's a topic of concern that you're likely going to want to address. Because if it doesn't get addressed, you're never going to know if she's actually like hiding somebody or cheating on you or talking to another dude behind your back. So look, for me, man, like I said, I did have a girlfriend that had the ringer off on her phone, and like her mom and her sister would call me to literally try to get a hold of her because my ringer would be on. But that was the most loyal girlfriend I've ever had. She wasn't hiding anything. However, in other situations, you know, if she's trying to hide her phone from her or from you, or she won't let you get into it, like if you're like in the car driving and you're like, hey babe, what's your password so I can change the song? Like if she doesn't give that to you, like if she makes it hard to get into her phone, there's likely somebody or something that she's not telling you about, and you can't have a relationship or you can't have a relationship based on no trust. Now, if you're dating a girl and you guys aren't official, you gotta understand that the prettier the girl is, the more men that she's probably talking to. And besides, if you just started dating a girl, and if you just started like dating a really pretty girl, you gotta understand that there's likely been another guy or a couple of guys that have more time in with her than you do with her. So those guys are always gonna win in the game of priorities. And this is, you know, in that case, and there's nothing you could do there. But just know that, you know, if she places her phone face down while she's with you, or she tries to hide her phone, likely there's somebody else. And look, whether you're dating a girl or in a relationship with a girl, for me personally, that behavior, that's not fucking cool. That's not okay with me. Okay, number 3. If she starts belittling you. Now, I'm going to explain what I mean by belittling. So I had a girlfriend that a girlfriend in the past. And this girl right here, she was, as far as like having sex-wise goes, oh dude, it was the most fun that I've ever had. However, this girl would start problems with me out of literally fucking nowhere. And I kid you guys not, they would go on for like 2 or 3 days straight. Like she would text me for 2 to 3 days straight, just constantly fucking blowing my phone up, yelling at me, getting angry. And then what would happen is over time, the less I started dealing with that, she would start saying things like, you have a fucking small dick, this is why nobody likes you, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, really? Like, this is what we're gonna, like, you're literally going to this far? Because when I understand this type of behavior, this is called protest behavior. So if you understand like attachment styles, this is her anxiety coming out. And protest behavior is you're acting out to get somebody's attention. So her belittling me by going from being angry to where I'm like, dude, you need to fucking stop, this is annoying, to then her escalating her behavior into saying stuff like, you've got a small dick, this is why nobody likes you, which is everyone, I can get along with everybody. So to me, like, that's laughable. That behavior right here is because likely in her childhood, she had to act out in order to gain the love and attention from her parents. And this girl in particular, I do know, did not have like a very good relationship between her parents, and so that's likely where that came from. But I'm telling you right now, bro, this chick right here, I would literally go out of my way to block her. I would block her phone number. And then there was a time where she got her grandma's phone and started texting me off of her grandma's phone. And then when I blocked that number, then she started DMing me on Instagram. And guys, I kid you not, this girl would continue fucking raging at me for literally days at a time. And this didn't happen until we were about, I think, 5 or 6 months into the relationship. And that's what I typically say. Corey Wayne says that people can hide who they really are for the first 90 days. From my understanding, you really get emotionally bonded with somebody at around the 6-month mark. And then once you get emotionally bonded with somebody, that's when their inner child is going to come out, and that's who they really are, because now the relationship's going from that limerence phase of fun, new, exciting chemicals where you guys are, you know, fucking like rabbits all the time and just hanging out and enjoying each other's company. And then once that emotional bond forms, then the relationship between the girl and their caretakers, so their parents, that's where she's gonna start behaving that way. And the same thing goes for you as well. If a girl starts belittling you, you gotta, I broke up with this girl. That's so fucking, don't you ever fucking talk to me like that. The amount of disrespect that this girl gave to me verbally was just, any man or woman that has to deal with somebody like that for a prolonged amount of time would try to get rid of this person. And when I tried to get rid of this girl, I wasn't able to just easily get rid of her. She kept trying to find a way to fucking come back, and that's because rejection breeds obsession, and that's likely why. Okay, number 4, and this one is a huge one, guys. If she avoids conflict. Now, if you're under the impression that relationships should be easy, you guys shouldn't have conflict in the first place, then you're living in a fantasy. You need to understand that conflict is going to happen no matter what. You can't fucking avoid it. At some point in time, you or your girlfriend or your boyfriend or whatever the fuck you have is going to upset you based on something they did. And if you two are growing together, you guys are going to have those difficult conversations, and you're going to want to have that conversation until a solution gets brought up. That way you guys can move on, become closer, become stronger. The last girl that I was in a relationship with, and this was absolutely my best relationship I've ever been with, but again, after that 6-month mark where I really started to see who she was, I noticed that I was the one that always had to bring up problems in the relationship. She never did. I would say, hey, you know, this is going on and it's bothering me, or hey, sometimes I would ask her like, hey, like, are we okay? Anytime I had a problem with this girl, she would immediately get defensive and then immediately try to like turn it around on me, because that's a defense mechanism. This is what she had to do to feel safe when she was a child. And her parents are wonderful too. So I would never assume that. But when you understand childhood trauma affects, or the childhood trauma is how a person is going to act in the relationship, then this all makes sense. So this girl in particular right here, anytime I had a problem, it would never get solved or it would never get addressed, because she would get defensive. She would shut down whenever I tried to have a conversation. Like she would literally shut down. Like she would just start like literally like a robot, just shutting down. I get like PTSD thinking about it, because it's horrible. It was horrible watching that happen. But I'm like, dude, like we can't just act like nothing happened. And what's funny, because after that, like a day or two would go by and she would come back around and act like nothing happened. How are you guys going to have a good relationship if the problems that I was having in the relationship based on her behavior weren't getting addressed? So what she was doing, like her actions not matching her words, which is something you should always look out for in a woman, and I might add that one to this list. Sometimes her actions would not match her words. That is a massive sign of disrespect for me. And when I would bring that up, that's when she would get defensive, or she would start fighting back with me, or she would shut down, and then we would argue, and then nothing would get solved, and then a day goes by, and then she would come back around and act like nothing happened. Can you see the problem with that? If a problem persists and a solution doesn't get addressed, and that problem keeps coming up, resentment is going to build up on both sides. I'm going to start resenting her. She is going to start resenting me. And because I was always the one that had to bring up the problems to begin with, the issues that she had with me, she was too afraid to bring up, because she was conditioned to do that in her childhood and the other relationship she was in. So think about it. So this girl ended up breaking up with me, but if she had problems with the way I was behaving, I never knew about them, because she would never bring that up. So that resentment in her mind got built up over time, and then eventually she just lost it and broke up with me. That's why I'm saying, guys, you can't have a healthy long-term relationship with a girl if she refuses to have conflict, if she refuses to like get into arguments and disagreements and come up with solutions. Normal, healthy women talk to feel better. This girl in particular would rather keep it to herself than to address the problem so she feels better. Can you see the fucking issue with that? So anytime she had a problem with me, I would never know about it. How can I fix something if I don't know about it? You can't. All right, last one, man. Number 5, if she doesn't make you a priority. The last girl I talked about, this one fits into this same girl right here over time. And now here's, the more I understand how attraction works, the more I can start understanding that maybe I was at fault here. So this girl, when we first started dating, the first 6 months, you know, it was the best thing ever. We were hanging out all the time. She was always with me. She was always texting me. She would send me selfies. We would plan dates to hang out. It was just a blast. But when I moved in with this girl, that's when I saw her pulling away. She would start texting me less. She would never send me selfies. She would never laugh at my memes on Instagram. Or she would, like I said, she would start texting me less, sometimes once a day, sometimes twice a day. And then when I brought it up, she would always use an excuse of, oh, I'm just so busy. But this girl would be on Instagram throughout the day. So once I figured that out, I was like, okay, well, that's not fucking right. Something's not wrong. And again, at that time, I didn't understand how attraction works. Women act based on how they feel. And if a girl's pulling away from you, she's likely feeling smothered because you're over pursuing. And I will admit that yes, I was over pursuing back then because I didn't know how attraction between men and women works. I didn't know the masculine polarity and then the feminine polarity. I was acting more on my feminine, and I say this, I grew up without a dad, so I was raised with my mom my whole life. So I've had to teach myself how to be a man my entire life. So I'm not justifying that behavior, but you don't know what you don't know. That's why I'm able to teach this stuff to you guys now, because I've had to learn this shit the fucking hard way, because I didn't have a dad to tell me, hey, dumbass, stop, that girl's pulling away, leave her the fuck alone until she comes back. So in this case then, and here's the thing, when she broke up with me saying I was the best boyfriend she's ever had, if you understand attachment styles, this girl had an avoidant attachment style. So I could be the best boyfriend she's ever had, but she's still naturally gonna push me away. But the rules apply. If a girl pushes you away, you back the fuck off and you let her come back to you. Now, this girl right here would make her friends, her work, the gym, she would make everything else in her life, the longer we started dating, a priority instead of me. So I'm her significant other. I live with this woman. I am her life partner at this point in time, but yet everything else in life was more important to her than me. So this is where the attachment styles come in. Because again, when you're avoidant, love scares these people. All my research says that this girl was avoidant, but I have no actual dead end proof yeah, she's 100% avoidant. So I can't say that that's the case, but I'm telling you right now, if you're ever involved with a girl that makes everything else a priority, if you're in a relationship with this girl and you're not a priority, or if you're dating this girl and you're not a priority, if you're dating her, I would assume that there's somebody else in the picture that you don't know about, and she's prioritizing this other guy or a girl, depending on if she's bi or not, over you. Likely because this other person has more time with her, or you're being a beta male and you're over pursuing. Now, in this case right here, when I was in a relationship with this girl and she prioritized everything else, I lived with her. I don't actually know the reason why. Come here. I don't know the reason why she pulled away like that, or why she prioritized everything else. Now, it's possible that this girl acted this way in all of her other relationships too. Again, if you understand how she was raised by her parents when she was 0 to 2, I believe is where this forms, but I don't know that information, so I can't sit here and assume that. I just know that if a girl chooses, a healthy, normal woman will want your attention all of the fucking time. Okay, if a girl's in love with you, a normal, healthy girl that received love from her father in a healthy way will want your attention all of the fucking time. That's just how these girls are genetically wired. So in this case right here, if she made everything else a priority to me, but she was telling me things like, you're the best boyfriend I ever had, that tells me that likely she didn't receive the love that she should have got when she was a kid. And without getting too personal, when you look at her past relationships, that theory makes sense. So in that case then, if you're dating a girl that doesn't prioritize you and she makes everything else a priority, I'm telling you, one man to another, even if it's hard, even if you don't feel like at that point in time that you can find somebody else, I'm telling you guys, I should have left that relationship several different times, and yet I still chose to stick around because I held on to the fantasy of who this girl was when I first met her, because she was awesome. And then when I moved in with her and started dating her longer and longer, she would prioritize everything else. It's not fair to you. It's unloving and disrespectful to yourself as a man to give your time away to a woman that doesn't value you as much as you value, her. I don't really know how to word this, right? So it's like, you don't want to pedestalize the girl, but if you're in a relationship with the girl and you've been dating for like a year or so, that's your significant other. You, as a man, we both know that you would do anything for this girl. But do you really want to be with a girl that doesn't reciprocate the same amount of love that you're giving her? No, you don't. And I'm telling you from firsthand experience, I put up with that. And I lived with this girl. And it was fucking devastating. The man that I turned into, like, I'm a very confident, outgoing person. I could talk to anybody. But my, like, mental health got, like, it got fucking tanked. Because I was in a relationship with somebody that just didn't treat me the way that I knew I deserved to be treated, but I wasn't able to leave. And I'm telling you from experience, man, if you're with a girl that doesn't make you a priority, never try to keep somebody that doesn't want to keep you. So if she's not making you a priority, then leave her the fuck alone. And every time she reaches out to you, assume she wants to see you and then make a date to hang out. So again, it's possible that I was over pursuing and that was causing her to get pushed away because this girl did tell me she needed space at some point in time. But again, I didn't know what I didn't know. Could she always push people away or make everything else a priority? Attachment style says these people behave this way, but my behavior too says I could have caused her to do that because she just felt confused. I was being more of the woman instead of letting her come to me. Watch this video, watch this last part a couple times so you can make sure you really understand that if a girl's not prioritizing you, it could be your behavior or maybe she just treats your boyfriends like that. And in that case, man, that's not okay. Hope you guys like this video, man. That's gonna be 5 red flags in women that I would advise you highly, highly, highly not to ignore. I don't care how hot this girl is, how cool she is, or how long you've been dating. I'm telling you, if you are with a girl that displays any or all of these behaviors, your mental health is gonna go fucking down, and you're gonna see, man, that kid in the wheelchair, Mitchell, he was right. I dated a girl that had one of these flags, and you know what? It absolutely just tanked my quality of life. So, hope this helps, guys. If you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. If you want my new dating book, the link in the description right here, video on the next page. Check it out and see if that's for you. If you want to work with me one-on-one in coaching, link in the description. Video on the next page. If that works, schedule a time. And please, if I didn't already say this, like, comment, and subscribe. And if you are a guy that is looking to level up his life, check out this video right here. There's a couple different things in this video, just like this one, that you're going to want to know so that way you can improve your life. And with that being said, guys, hey, see you in the next video.